Hey everybody, working on the, God, I always want to say curved tri-tail tuner. Working on the aged hardware build, and I've got all the strings on, and it's tuned up, slightly sharp, and it's sat under tension overnight. And the next step is to sand the bridge in order to set the action. But I was thinking that for the swing bar, really I should make one to match the body. I went fishing and found this piece of oak that's a bit of cut off from the same board that this came from. So I've already set up the saw to cut it down to bar size, and it's just ever so slightly bigger. Let me find the original bar here. It's just, there we go. Yeah, almost exactly the same length. So yeah, I'll be cutting it down to square, and that'll be on the cutoff part, that little bit right there, and get that into the paint shop, and then once it's drying, then I can get to sanding the bridge and setting the action, and that's the plan. Red oak, I'll be at this for a while. There we go, all cleaned up. So, as you can see, these two bars are almost identical in length, and I'm thinking they're going to be close enough. I mean, if it ends up being at exactly the same place as the old bar, then, you know, the strap button would stick out 3/4 of an inch more or something like that, an inch more. I don't think that's going to be a big deal, so I don't see any need to cut it any shorter. I can just go to sanding. Yeah, so I'll just hit it up with some 60 grit here, and all the faces and all the edges and all the corners, and I'll be back. Unless you want to see sanding action, I don't. I've been checking into it. I don't have any software that'll like increase playback speed. I guess I need to download some new editing software. But yeah, in general I talk slow, so my personal advice would be increase the playback speed and to as fast as you can and still understand what I'm saying, if you even care about what I'm saying. And yeah, I mean, it's like when I post these things, by the time I'm watching it on YouTube to make sure everything's okay, I've already seen the whole thing like 4 times, so I'm always watching them at double speed. And as long as you can catch what I'm saying, it works just fine. And I wish I could actually speed up the videos a little bit. But anyway, yeah, I'd make parts like this where I'm just blah, 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 rambling and make it go by faster. Okay, a little sanding action. Helps if I plug it in. That's one side. I'll be back. Okay, all done. Little vibration fatigue in the hands. Okay, this is the brown that I used. Is that this neck? Who's this neck, was it? Yeah. That stuff that I got it so thick it was almost like paint. I thinned it out like almost 50%. It should still be pretty dark though, so see what happens here. Yeah, it's still pretty dark. A couple coats of this ought to be a pretty good match. And since this is solid wood, I can always sand back if it's too dark. All I'm doing is putting fingerprints on and taking them off again. Alright, good enough. Okay, time to sand the bridge in order to get the action correct. It's either that or shim the neck, and it's better to not shim the neck, I would say. So, especially when you can sand or shim the bridge in order to adjust, at least with this particular design of guitar. And since strings are under full tension, bridge doesn't want to really come out. So the first thing is I got to loosen up the strings and get the bridge out of there. Yep, just loosened each tuner 5 half turns, and that's all it took. Okay, took some initial measurements here, and it's ranging at the 4 corners from 19.4 to 20 millimeters tall. And so I'm going to bring it down to, guess I'll bring it down to 19, like at all 4 corners if possible, and then try it there and maybe get some feeler gauges under it or an action gauge and see exactly how much more to drop it. I probably should have taken a measurement with an action gauge or a ruler or something before I started in order to at least get a guess. But how much you take off the bridge is not the same as the action here. You'd actually, it's proportional. If you're dropping the action here a millimeter, then the ratio of, get the whole guitar in frame here. It's the ratio of this length to that length, as far as like the ratio of these two heights. So I think I'm just going to have it this way. That kind of an idea. Okay, one side's clocking it at 19 on both corners. The other side's clocking in at like 18.7 to 18.9 on the 2 corners. And slip it back in. I don't have a saddle line marked on this, I don't believe. No dot or anything. About there. Okay. What do we have? It's a little high. Just a little bit. Remember, this is not under full tension. I think I can take a little bit more off. Let me fish up a feeler gauge. Ah, my favorite action gauge. I found it. It's been missing for a while. Oh, it's almost there. It's pretty much there. Yeah. So, if it just touches the very tip of this thing, that's 0.9 millimeters if it goes like that. Now, it doesn't quite, well, almost does. So, yeah, this is probably right about 1 mil right now. So that's probably okay. Might leave it right just right there. Can check it again once it's under tension. I don't think it's going to move though. Yeah. We'll call that okay for now. So in the meantime, this thing is still damp. So, drying cam time. I forgot to mention, when I was sanding the bridge, I quickly gave up on the little sanding block that had the 80 grit on it, and I got a sheet of 60 grit and put it on the desk and rubbed it down that way. It was taking too long with the little sanding block, so yeah, I was able to remove. I still had to grind away at it for a few minutes, but yeah, it worked. So, and it worked faster and better. Well, faster. It might have probably yielded slightly more even results too. Okay, I think this thing is dry enough to proceed. First thing I want to do is I want to get the pivot screw hole going in this so that I can hang it up. And then I'll try a Naphtha test in order to see if it needs another coat of dye or not. Not pushing at all, just laying the way the drill do all the work. And yeah, it's going to take a while with red oak, so. But it keeps my bit sharp. And it's cutting quite quickly, actually. And there we go. Wonder if this is going to be big enough for a hanger, though. Might need to make it a little bigger. There we go. That'll work. Okay, time for the Naphtha test. These are the colors we're trying to match. And that's what we got. It looks like a pretty good match for this. I think that'll do. Now we gotta let that dry. Okay, the Naphtha is dry and it's time for acrylic. Krylon. Wow, that light is intense. Yeah, Krylon Color Max Clear Gloss Crystal Clear Acrylic paint. First coat's more or less just a sealer coat. Well, the swing bar is in the paint shop drying, so I think that's going to do it for this episode. I'll leave you all with a shot of the western sky at sunset. Got some pink clouds going on after a storm that just blew through. It's been raining all day, so till the next one, everybody, have a good one.